Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to The Camera Adds 10 Pounds. I am your host, Peter Sers. You're welcome. And if you're listening, before we start, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, please do Peter a favor. And I just talked about myself in the third person. Go on Apple Podcast, leave me a rating or a review, or both, or subscribe, or share, whatever, man. Just share the wealth, okay? I'm trying to feed my future babies here, so just show me some love if you can. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you actually maybe screenshot or something and post like on your story or something that you did it, I might send you a gift. Just saying. Today's episode, I had a guest who I will not name this person because I'll probably have them back on and then we can have a laugh afterwards. The person has been bugging me about being on the podcast, literally. And then a few minutes ago, I got a message saying that this person's in the hospital, doing fine, but not going to make it. So kind of left me with no choice because I have to record this because tomorrow this is coming out. When you guys hear this, it will be tomorrow already, but whatever. Anyway, so it's just me again. And Paul's in here hanging out with me. Your last name's Verdugo.
Yes.
Are you related? I thought about it. I had an English teacher when I went to middle school, and her last name was Verdugo. And if you guys were related, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. Well, but the Verdugo side of the family is all cholos, so.
Oh, definitely not a chola.
Yeah.
She was a girl. Miss Verdugo, though, at Ray Wiltsey.
Yeah, I gotta check out the family tree.
Are you coming from a family of cholos?
Yeah, my dad's side is
really?
all cholo. I'll show you some pictures.
I believe you.
Yeah, you'll be like, what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, I look nothing like the rest of my family.
I kind of don't either, but you know what's weird is, you know how like on Snap, are you on Snapchat?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on it, but I'm not like on it. I try my best, but there's like the app that shows you like it starts with you, and then you can go to see how old you get, or like you can go back and have like a baby version of yourself. And like, I do not think that I look like my dad. And I don't know. Have you met my brother, Travis? That's a comic, also.
I don't know.
Think so.
I don't think so.
Anyway, but like I have two brothers. None of us look alike. I don't think we do. Most people don't think we do. And I don't think I look like my dad. But on the Snapchat app, I definitely look like my dad, and it's weird. There's like if it goes too old, then I don't. But there's if I scroll right a little bit, I'm like, oh shit, like I kind of look like my dad in there, and I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
It's creepy.
So since last week's episode was kind of about, setting goals and not making excuses, and Paul was here, we were talking about, different things to do and whatnot. I think it would be great to kind of elaborate on that since my guest is not here. So the first thing I did, I don't know if you guys follow me on social media. The first thing I want to talk about is accountability, because if fitness is your goal, or even we can talk life and career goals, having someone to hold you accountable is very important, and not just important, but just helpful, because if you have, I can't tell you how many times, as long as I've been a trainer, how many people, maybe they work out with me, 2 or 3 times a week or more, whatever. And, maybe they don't lose all the weight they lose, and that's just because their eating isn't great, they're drinking, whatever. But they're in better health overall because they're exercising regularly, so they have better heart health, better, cholesterol health, and all those things. And I always tell them, just think of, how much more or how much out of shape you would be if you weren't working out at all. And some people just need that accountability like that. Okay, I have a personal trainer. I have an appointment with them 3 times a week. And if I don't go, it's going to cost me money. So I'm going to go, right? So you have someone hold you accountable that way. We can't all afford personal trainers. I get it. Have a buddy that, you and that buddy, agree that, 2 or 3 or 4 times a week, you're going to get together and go to the gym or go for a run or a bike ride, or, we went through all the things last week of different things that you can do that's another way to hold yourself accountable. You could join, there's groups on like I'm a big Fitbit guy. I love my Fitbit. And there's groups you can join on Fitbit and kind of challenge people. Like I like to do it. Like I try to collect as many of my friends that have Fitbits, and then you can talk shit to each other. They call it taunting on Fitbit, but you can talk shit to each other. You could see who's gotten more steps or who's burned more calories and so forth. So that's just a remote way to do it. You could join other ones where it's complete strangers. Like I'm on another thing that I don't know if I talked about it on the last. I don't think I did. It's called Sweatcoin. And I actually love this. It's a free app that you can use. And what it does, it's on your phone, and it measures how much you walk. So it used to be just outside, but now they've updated the app, so it's just how much you walk, period. So even if you're walking inside. And depending on how much you walk, you get a certain amount of points. I don't know if you guys can see this. But so like on this thing right now, I've been on this for about like a month or so, a little bit over a month. And so every day, depending on how much you walk, you get coins, I think, or dollars, I guess. But like right now I have 455 sweat coins. And then if you go, they have a store and you could buy things. And the things that you could buy in the store, they always change. You can donate it to charities and stuff, but like right here, there's one where you can have 2 months of Audible for $5, which if you just use that, then that's plenty. You could get meal kits from Home Chef for $8. You could get phone cases. Oh, you can't get those. They're all sold out. But they always have different things. There's like different apps that you could subscribe to that cost, X amount of money per month. Like right now, they have 1 month of coaching on Ladder, which is an app that I'm pretty sure it's LeBron James's app. There's all kinds of different things, and that's free. All you have to do is just walk around. And we talked about walking, If you've listened to this podcast, I like to walk around a lot. One, because it helps me get my mind right a little bit, and it just puts me in a better mood when I'm not in the car. And it just for me, it's like walking just like extra credit as far as like the calories burned. So anyway, but in that app, the Sweatcoin app, you can also join groups and compete with people, kind of like you do like on fantasy football or fantasy baseball. Like you can join a group with your friends and, compete with one another that way. Or you can join a group with complete strangers and compete with them. But at the end of the day, accountability is very important. I did something that I've never done before. And, last week we were talking about, I don't set New Year's resolutions because I feel like those are things that you should and shouldn't be doing anyway. So what I do every year is I set goals. And for the most part, I set goals every year that might be, I don't want to say unattainable, but maybe every year I look at the end of the year and look at the goals I set for myself, and I don't always reach a lot of them. But the thing is, it's like there's this book that I read a while ago called 10X, and it's by Grant Cardone. He's like a big kind of like motivational speaker kind of guy, CEO, whatever. But and so not a lot of people are into it. I mean, a lot of people are into it, but there are people that are like, oh, it's too much, and I get it. But in his book, he was talking about the main thing, the 10X or 10 times is if you set a goal, let's say, for example, one of my goals this year was to do at least 300 shows. Okay, that's a lot of shows, but it's doable. Just gotta hustle a lot. But with his goal setting, I should have set that goal to 10 times that, which would be like 3,000, which would be basically impossible. But the meaning behind it is to set goals that are so high that even if you don't get to them, because you worked so hard for these crazy goals, whatever you accomplish, even if you get a fraction of that, is still pretty good. But if you set your goals low and then you only hit, you don't achieve those goals, then it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you set a goal, let's say a goal would be for me to lose 5 pounds, which I don't have 5 pounds to lose, but if I did, and let's say I don't hit that, then it's like, okay, well, I didn't lose 5 pounds. But if I set a goal for 50 pounds, right, and then maybe I didn't hit it, which would suck. But if I hit 5 pounds, then it's like, okay, well, I did something, and now I can just kind of keep going and build on that. So that's kind of his thing. So every year I set goals for myself, and like I said, they're usually so high that I don't get all of them. And some of them are also, I always set goals for myself that might not necessarily be within my control. So that's another reason, but the important thing is working really hard to get to those goals. So this year, my point was, I did something that I've never done before, and that was share my goals with the public. I posted them on my Instagram. I posted them on my Facebook. I posted them across all of my social media accounts, so that next year, at the beginning of the year, towards the end of the year, I can look back and share how many of those goals I actually accomplished. So for me, it goes back to what we were talking about before, accountability. Me putting them out there for the public to see is my way of holding myself accountable for some of these goals that I've set for myself. And there's some lofty goals. A couple of them are not in my control. Actually, there's probably about 4 of them. So one of my goals, I'll share all of them with you. How about that? My first goal, and these are not in order of importance. My first goal for 2020 is to complete the A League of My Own tour, which I've kind of mentioned on this podcast, but it's definitely happening. This year, starting in March, when the baseball season starts, I'm going to all 30 Major League Baseball parks, and I'm doing shows in each city while I'm there. So that's 30 ballparks, which means I'll be doing more than 30 shows, but for the project, at least, we're doing them in each city, which has been, it's kind of consumed me for the last couple months, but we're almost done with all the bookings. I have a couple places left that I need to do, and we're going to get those done this week, I promise. And then the second goal, like I said earlier, do at least 300 shows, which that's kind of something I can kind of control it to an extent, but if I ask people if I could do their show and they say no, then, there's nothing I can do about it. But, if I can try to get 300 shows, I might even get more. But, at least 300 shows, that's 365 days a year. That's still 65 days off. That's pretty good, My third goal, like I said, this one's not in my control, but I think I can make it happen. I want to perform in a foreign country, which does not include Canada because I already go to Canada every year. So that's going to be cool if I can get that, or when I can get that. And it can be anywhere. It could be Mexico, which would be cool. But I kind of want to go to like an English-speaking country so I don't have to worry about people missing what I'm saying with the language barrier. But this is one that's not in my control. Another one that's not in my control. Do stand up on television, either late night or daytime TV. I don't fucking care. I just need another TV credit for me doing stand-up. I want to be in a fitness magazine, and that's also something that's out of my control. I've been in a fitness magazine before, but I want to get featured in a fitness magazine, so that's a little bit different. I want to have like one of those cool articles that are like, oh, this guy travels the country doing stand-up and still finds a way for himself to stay in shape. That's a little bit of self-indulgent, but I fucking want to do it. I want to keep building my credit score. Most comics, I feel like, I don't know. But I know a lot of people that don't have good credit because our jobs are unpredictable sometimes with, comedy. In a perfect world, we're working all the time and we know where our money's coming from all the time, but that's not how it is. So I've had bad credit for a while, but over the last year, I have been building my credit, and I increased my credit score almost 100 points this year, which is pretty good for me. I don't want to tell you how low it was, but let's just say that now, whereas like a year ago or so, I wouldn't even bother applying for credit cards because I knew I wouldn't get them. Now, people send me stuff asking me to apply for their credit card. So I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. So anyway, I want to keep building that. I want to work at least 5 new comedy clubs this year. That's also something that's not in my control. I could try. I could keep emailing bookers and whatnot, or asking people if I could open for them, but it's a weird place to be in, but it's also something that's not in my control. I want to make my movie. I've been writing this movie for the last couple years, in hopes that I can get this magical, meeting with somebody important that I can sit down and explain my movie script and have them be like, okay, we'd love to make your movie. Here's $500,000 or whatever, go make your movie. Like, that would be great. But I'm just going to take it into my own hands, and I'm looking into buying a bunch of equipment and whatnot, and I'm just going to make it myself, try to make it myself, not really knowing what I'm doing with that, because I don't know if you guys know this, how would you? I had this short film that I shot twice. And it's this really cool short film that I wrote a couple years ago, because we're always trying to create content. And it's really cool. It's really funny. It's about this guy that loves the Dodgers, me, obviously. And I shot it once, and I hired, a camera person and whatever to shoot it. And this person took off and never brought my stuff back. So I never got the footage or anything. And I paid them and everything. They took off, which sucked. And then I hired another person whom I had worked with before on other projects. There's some short films that I have on my YouTube. This person did them for me. Great job. So we shot this again, and this person also took off with my footage. So I've shot the same film twice, hiring other people, and I got screwed over both times. So I've kind of been reluctant to hire somebody when I'm shooting content. A lot of times I'll just shoot it on my phone or kind of collab with someone that I trust and not have to I'm doing something for them. Anyway, point being, one way or another, I'm going to get my film made this year, whether I have to do it or maybe somebody will buy it. Who knows? The last three, book a TV role. So I want to get another guest spot on television. I don't care what it is, man. I just need to be able to use that as leverage for when I'm trying to go to comedy clubs. I want to be on a movie also. I mean, my movie came out. I don't know if you guys know this, but yeah, because I didn't know it was coming out. My movie that I made a couple years ago, actually, it's called Killer Camera Monsters. It just came out on Amazon last Friday. And I'm going to be honest, you guys, probably not going to get nominated for an Academy Award or a Golden Globe or any award for that matter, maybe a Razzie. But I want to book another one because I shot that a while ago. And my last goal is I want to get a blue check mark. And for those of you guys that don't know what that means, when you go to someone's Instagram or Twitter account or even Facebook for that matter, if there's a blue check mark, that means they are quote unquote verified. And that means that the public has recognized that this is an important person, important in that they're a verified public figure. So when you get that, it's kind of like the stamp of approval that you're officially in the industry. Even though I've been in the industry for years, that blue check mark is worth a lot. So I'd like to get that. And there's different ways to do it. I don't want to pay anybody to do it. There's ways that you can work around it and kind of get it done the shady way. I want to do it the right way. So those are my goals. But like I said, I put them on, social media so I can hold myself accountable by, reporting back to all of my followers of what I'm doing for this. So anyway, that's that. Accountability is big. Hire somebody or have a group maybe that you work with. Just whatever it is, you shouldn't be in it alone. You should have other people to help hold you accountable, however you do it. There's even apps that you can use that you can write your goals, and they'll send you stuff every week to make sure you're on track for your goals. You can hire a life coach if you want to go that far. So yeah. Okay, so anyway, since this is a fitness podcast, we talk about a lot of stuff, but, the main focus is trying to get people to take better care of themselves. I thought it'd be a good idea to share some stuff with you since, people ask me all the time. The first thing I'm going to talk about is just really quick, we're going to kind of glance over my favorite gyms and studios to go to if you happen to be in Los Angeles. Because we've talked about it on this podcast. I've had guests that are involved in the fitness community and, that go to some of these places. But I'm just going to list my favorites, and then we can go from there. Number one, as far as gyms go to, I'm gonna have to say it's kind of a tie. So for basic gyms, basic your average decent priced gym. My favorite in LA is gonna be the even though they fired me a few years ago, the 24-Hour Fitness. They didn't fire me, but the 24-Hour Fitness in Sherman Oaks. If you happen to be in the Sherman Oaks area, it's got 2 floors, which a lot of people I think don't really. I don't know if they don't realize it or whatever, but it's huge, and they have 2 floors, and they have everything. They got basketball, they've got a pool, they've got, sauna, steam room, all those things. They've got the downstairs area has like a big, like a turf area where they have, ropes and sleds and all those things, medicine balls and just everything you need, honestly. And honestly, this is probably, for a gym that size, it's probably one of the least crowded 24-hour fitnesses, because there's several in the LA area. There's one in Hollywood. There's one in West Hollywood. They're all over the place. But, as someone who kind of goes or went to a bunch of different ones, I'd say the one in Sherman Oaks is probably the best. It's not really crowded ever. Like, if you go, any gym that you go to at 5 o'clock, we talked about this last week, but any gym that you go to, like right after work, it's probably going to be crowded. So that one, for the most part, as long as you don't go at that peak time, it's pretty reasonable. Like, I never really had a problem there, because there's 2 floors. Some people don't like to go downstairs and some people don't like to go upstairs. And so it's like, there's plenty of room to do what you need to do. They got TRX and just really everything. And they have classes that you can take too, So yeah, that would be my recommendation if you're in the LA area. As far as like a gym goes, if you want to talk fancy gyms, we can go up a level. Equinox is probably like the biggest, fancy. There used to be another one, but they've kind of taken over now. The Equinox in Manhattan Beach, or actually technically it's Hawthorne, is so nice. They've got a rooftop pool. They've got this whole rooftop area, again, with turf, and they've got tires and ropes. And even though it's in South Bay, it's not very crowded for some reason. There's just, I don't know, it's just not crowded. Like, even at night, it's hardly crowded. And I like that about a gym that's not very crowded, because I hate people just get on my nerves when I'm at the gym all the time. They get in my personal space and whatever. So those are my 2 favorites. Like I said, 24 in Sherman Oaks, which it's not like, it's LA. It's all LA, for like a normal price gym. And then you got, if you want fancy gym, Equinox in South Bay. Very good. Equinox in West Hollywood, super busy all the time, but you can see famous people all the time there. So that's cool too. Equinox in Beverly Hills, kind of a bunch of people that don't know what the fuck they're doing, don't like it, kind of small, not worth the money, because it's just too small for that kind of money. It's like $250 a month, which is crazy. But so those are like gyms. Okay, I do not the 24-hour fitness in Hollywood, too crowded for me. The one in West Hollywood, also very crowded. Very nice, like they redid everything, but there's a lot of shit that goes on in the locker room and stuff there, because it's in West Hollywood. I'll let you use your imagination, but it could be a little much at times. I go to LA Fitness also, and I just, honestly, the LA Fitnesses that I end up going to are always basically just out of convenience, at least in the LA area. Always crowded, always messy, people just don't know what the fuck they're doing, and it bothers me. Here's the thing, you guys, and I've talked about this. If you don't have the money to get a personal trainer, I totally understand. They can be very expensive. But I will say, take advantage of the free stuff. Every gym comes with some sort of orientation with a trainer. Obviously, they're trying to sell you training, but they can still teach you the basics. They have to. And you can go online, and there's so many cool things, and that's what I wanted to kind of get into after we get into the studios. But anyway, those are my gyms that I love and don't love. As far as like studios, LA is a big place for classes. Okay, I've talked about all the different things that I like to do. One of my favorite things to do is boxing. We've talked about this on the podcast numerous times. There's so many boxing places now. It's very popular, especially in LA. There's so many different boxing places that you can choose from. I've been to all of them, and my favorite is Prevail Boxing on 3rd Street, right by the Grove, just down the street. It's not one of those it's not like one of those posh places where there's like fancy lights. It's a boxing gym, man. Like, they got punching bags, they've got stations set up. They teach you combinations, you build on the combinations. You get a station where you're sparring with one of the coaches, and they're watching your form and making sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And there's more than one coach in the class, which I enjoy, because a lot of the boxing places is just one person kind of leading a class and not really paying attention to everybody's form. Some do, most don't. Okay, but at Prevail, there's always someone going around and make sure they correct you, and I enjoy that. The class is only 45 minutes, so that's enticing to a lot of people. I feel like, knowing that it's not an hour, it's only 45 minutes, but I will burn anywhere from like 700 to 900 calories in this thing, and I feel great. Like I said, I've talked about it on this podcast, but in LA, that's my favorite place to go. Okay, Prevail. That's for boxing. I've also talked about it on the podcast. We had her on. I enjoy going to hot yoga at Y7 here in Los Angeles. They also have them in New York. But it's hot yoga, and it scared me for the longest time. I never liked yoga. I tried yoga, and it just didn't do anything for me. But this studio does it right, at least for someone like myself, especially if you're not like a quote-unquote yogi. First of all, the lights are out when you're in there, so it's pretty dark. All they have is candlelight, which is great, so you don't have to worry about people looking at you, unless someone's like right next to you, which happens sometimes. But, you're kind of in your own thing, not having to worry about being judged. There's no mirrors in there, which is great. And they do the yoga. It's hot yoga, but it's not too hot. It's not like overwhelmingly hot. It's hot enough for you to sweat more and whatever. But they do it to the sounds of hip-hop music. So it's not like you're chanting all these crazy, Sanskrit words that you don't know. It's just you're just doing yoga to hip-hop music in the dark, in the candlelight, in the heat. And it's great, and I love it. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I enjoy going there. I go there once a week because it's a good balance for everything else that I do. So that's what I enjoy doing. When it comes to circuit training, there's several, circuit training places in here, and I like to make it a point to not name the places I don't like, even though I kind of told you guys a couple of gyms that I don't love. So I won't name the studios that I don't like. Just know, you guys know the big companies that have big brands out there. For circuit training, I don't love any of those, okay? My favorite circuit training gym is Speed Play, and we had Xavier on here, but they do, it's about an hour class, so sorry, but there's 4 stations. You do treadmill, and it's a special treadmill. It's called the Woodway Curve treadmill, which I love. When I get enough money to have enough space in a place and buy a house and all this good stuff and have a home gym, I can guarantee you I'm going to have a Woodway Curve treadmill in my gym. It's exponentially better than a regular treadmill. It's made with a special material, I think some kind of rubber. It's like a rubber type. Honestly, it's probably rubber. But anyway, it's made for, it started in rehab settings, but basically the way that the treadmill is made, you have to control the movement on it. So you can't turn it on and just hit 5 miles an hour or 6 miles an hour. The only way that the treadmill moves is if you move. So whether you're walking, whether you're running, jogging, sprinting, whatever, you're always in control of it. So it's more true to actual running, jogging, whatever, and it's because of the material that it's made out of. It's on a curve. It's much better for your joints, for your bones, etc. So I love them. And Speed Play, they utilize the curve in their workouts, and they also utilize a rower, which I don't love, but it's fine. And then there's different floor exercises that they do. So there's usually 4 stations when you go to class. But the program designer, Xavier, who we had on the podcast, a few months ago, probably one of the most knowledgeable people that I know. So unlike some of these other studios where they're just trying to kill you, he's trying to get you in the best shape and get you more functional and get you to really benefit from the workout as opposed to just trying to run you. Because anybody can just take you through a tough workout just because, but these are a little bit more science-based, so that's why I enjoy them, and all the trainers are great there. So those are my places, man. For boxing, Prevail. For yoga, Y7. For circuit training, Speed Play. You might be asking yourself, well, Peter, what about spinning? Fuck spinning, dude. I hate that shit. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm sure there's some good places. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I also don't like, there's a place, there's nothing wrong with the workout, but there's a place here called Rise Nation. Very popular. It's on La Cienega. People love it because they got lights and loud music, and you're on a Versa climber, and it's only 25 minutes, and everyone's like, oh, that's, it's great. It's only 25 minutes. It was boring for me for 25 minutes because I don't like being on one machine. I want to bounce around at different things, when I was talking about Speed Play, you're on the treadmill for, 10 to 12 minutes. You're on the floor for 10 to 12 minutes. You're rotating, different stations. You're not just on the same thing the whole time. And so mentally, it's just a lot easier to deal with. So that's why I didn't talk about spinning. I just hate being on the same thing. And I could do it. I could run fucking, I ran 6 miles yesterday. It's not that I'm not in good shape. I just don't like spinning, man. It's not my thing. If you like spinning, awesome. Tell me which spinning studio you like to go to, and I'll give them a shout out. Maybe. Probably not, though. So, okay. So that's that. Let's talk about apps. Okay? My favorite app, because people are like, well, what if I don't know what exercises to do? I like the Nike Training Club app, NTC. You can download it on your phone, on your, whatever, on your iPad. And there's all kinds of, I've talked about it in this podcast before, but this is my favorite one, even though I don't necessarily use it because I put myself through my programs and whatever. But if you have no knowledge, I think it's very beneficial because there's a plethora of different types of activities that you can do. They have it all. They have yoga. They have running. They have weightlifting. They have kettlebell stuff. They have so many things, and a lot of them are time-based too. So it's 15-minute chest workout or 25-minute this, and they're all very short. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. So that's a good one. And I also, because I'm a Nike guy, I also love the Nike Run Club app. And that one is great because there's a GPS on there. So it keeps track of, your run while you're on the run. You have to take your phone with you. But, it takes, I don't know if you guys can see, but, it'll tell you how far you went, what pace you're at, what elevation you went through during the run, and just all these different things. And it'll give you a mile by mile marker, give you a rundown. See, it'll tell you where you ran. It's got GPS on there, which is great. And you can play it with me. You can, utilize your music, whether you're on iTunes or Spotify while you're doing it, which I enjoy. And I don't even use this function, but there are also functions. I think Rachel was talking about it when she was on a few weeks ago, the guided run function. So you can choose, runs based on a certain amount of time or distance, or doing intervals. And if you have your headphones on, it's telling you what to do while you're running. So it'll tell you, okay, speed it up, another half a mile, 1 mile faster. Now we're running, now we're sprinting, and it'll tell you these things. So you literally have a little coach in your ear while you're running, which I enjoy. And this one's also free. So those are the two apps that I like, Nike Training Club, Nike Run Club. You're welcome. So yeah, questions? Hit me up on social media. And then I'll answer them for you. There's all kinds of other apps. There's all kinds of streaming services. A lot of the popular, gyms. There's Pop Sugar has some stuff, and there's so many. Chris Hemsworth has a fitness app, and I'm not going to subscribe to it, but I'm like, oh, that's cool. I talked about the one that LeBron James does. There's so many of them out there. Find one you like. Most of them, Nike ones are free. So people are always when they're complaining about price and stuff. I'm like, these are free, dude. So you have no excuse. But a lot of them that are subscription based, they'll give you a few days free. So it's not even On It has stuff that you can do. They have one that you can pay for, and they have free stuff too. And I love On It because I'm a brand rep for On It. You're welcome. Go to onit.com and use my code 10 pounds. Dang, I didn't even mean to do that, and I fucking worked it in. Anyway, okay. So what I next want to do is kind of talk about really quick some of my favorite like protein bars and shakes, because a lot of times people ask me about those. Two things. I've noticed, I don't know if it's because of age or if it's because of, things changing, but when I was younger, I used to be able just to drink, different types of protein shakes and have it not affect me. And now that I've gotten older, a lot of protein stuff, especially stuff with whey, it gives me gas. Don't know why. Like I said, it could be because of age. Maybe my body just doesn't digest certain things as well anymore. It could be that. Or what it could be is, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the supplement industry does not need to be regulated by the FDA. So what that means is, I and Paul in here in the studio, we could sit down in the garage and say, you know what, we're going to make protein powder and we're going to sell it from now on. And we'll say that it has, 20 grams of protein and, you have to write the ingredients on the back and whatever, but we could lie about the ingredients. And because it's a supplement, the FDA doesn't test anything. So my point is, a lot of these supplement companies sometimes put stuff in their products to make it maybe taste better or to make you feel the effects more or whatever it is. It's unethical. A lot of supplement companies get sued, but that's why if you ever buy like vitamins and whatnot, you'll read that these statements are not regulated by the FDA or something that says like that. So that's why I'm saying I don't know if I get a lot of gas because of some of these products because I'm older or because of what they're putting in. I don't know. But what I do know is that since that started to happen, I've kind of started to move towards different ones. So my favorite protein shake right now is from a company called OWYN. Owen is how they pronounce it, and it stands for Only What You Need. And I'm not vegan. We've talked about it on the podcast, but it's a vegan. It's a plant-based protein supplement. But I've only had the vanilla and the chocolate, but they're so good. I'm old enough to remember when there was literally two types of protein shake. It was like the weight gainer from GNC, or you could get Metrics, and that was it, dude. And they tasted awful. It was horrible, and I was like, I'm never gonna be big like the Hulk or whatever because I can't even drink this shit. But, over time, science and whatever, we found different ways to use artificial sweeteners and whatnot to make certain things taste better. So, Owen, they're delicious. And I love them, and they don't give me gas. So that's what I've been using lately. It's a plant-based. I'm not affiliated with them at all. So I've been using that. And then I also complement it with Vital Proteins, which is a collagen-based protein. And collagen is good, as we've talked about, for you hear people putting collagen in their face because it helps you fill in wrinkles and stuff, but you can also consume it, and it kind of has the similar effects. It's supposed to anyway. And since I'm getting older, I want to take care of my skin. But it's good for your nails too, and your hair, and just certain things like that. So I happen to be using a lot of collagen protein made by Vital Proteins, and I'm not affiliated with them at all. I'm just telling you guys. They have a flavorless one, and they also have a vanilla flavor. They probably have other flavors too, but I used a flavorless one because then I could mix it, if I'm having oatmeal in the morning, for example, I could throw it in my oatmeal, and because oatmeal doesn't really have any protein, but if I throw a scoop or two of Vital Protein, now it's oatmeal with protein, so it's the best of both worlds. So those are what I like for shakes. I used to love Muscle Milk, and like I said, over time it gives me gas, and there's a couple other companies that I used to really stand by, and not that I don't stand by them anymore, I just don't like having gas all the time, and I'm sure Paul appreciates the fact that I don't have gas right now. So so those are my shakes that I like. So if you like them, try them. They come. The thing is, I get the powder because my girlfriend who was on here, we talked about her the $500 blender that she bought. So we could mix in different fruits and whatever, and we make these shakes now that are half shake, half bowl kind of, and we put nuts in, and it's great. But But they make ready-to-drink versions also. So if you don't want to go through the trouble of, blending it or put it in a shaker cup, shout out to Performa. Look at that. You see how I did that? Just smooth transition. I work with these guys, though. So go to performa.com. 10 pounds, use my code, get 15% off. And if you're not watching, I just get a plug in the camera, but whatever. Anyway, they have ready-to-drink versions if you don't want to shake it up, and they're also just as delicious. So anyway, for the bars, we've had some of these on the podcast, but over the last couple years, same thing, like certain bars, there's a certain company that I used to love, and I used to eat these things all the time, protein cookies, and then they changed their recipe, and then I started getting gas, and then I wrote them a letter, or I actually sent them a DM because I was kind of a brand rep for them, and they confessed to me that they started to mass produce in a bigger factory, and they kind of changed a couple things for like efficiency or whatever, and I'm like, no, you changed the way these things taste completely, and now I have really bad gas, so I don't even eat those things anymore. And I used to put so many people onto those things, so I'm not going to name the company. You've been following me for a while, you know what I'm talking about, but I do have some bars that I enjoy now, so I'll share those with you guys. I think we brought them on the podcast one time, but Optimum Nutrition makes these protein nature bites. They're vegan, and they're little bites. They're 110 or 105 calories each, 210 for both of them. It's only 14 grams of protein, but it's a nice little snack that you could have, pre-workout or post-workout. I would have more to eat after a workout, but just for like a snack, so you can go every 3 hours, because you're supposed to eat like every 3 or 4 hours so that your metabolism stays high. That's what bars are for, because sometimes you don't have time to sit and eat a full meal 3 or 4 times a day or 5 times a day, so you have a bar here and there to kind of supplement that so your metabolism stays high. Got it? So that's why I like those. I also like eating them at night when I get the munchies, because it's better than eating chips or something bad. I just have a protein snack. So I enjoy those. I'm also a big fan of Muscle Farm. The protein candies, Paul liked those. Remember the M&Ms? Not vegan, though. Those are not vegan, so whatever. But they're delicious. They taste like M&Ms. You didn't even know the difference, right? See? Paul, who is, not the healthiest person.
That's true.
Yeah. Paul, is that the first protein bar you ever had?
No, not at all. I used to be a gym rat, and then comedy, man.
Yeah. See? I'm trying to buck that trend, buddy. Also, so those are like my main ones. I also like Optimum Nutrition makes a protein wafer, which I love. Those, like that to me, like I said, the supplement companies don't have to pass with their they don't have to pass any kind of regulations by the FDA, so they could be lying about what's in their products, but I feel like for someone that consumes a lot of those things, like if they were putting like really bad shit into those bars and whatnot, that I would be overweight because I do consume a lot of shakes and bars and stuff. So I don't think they're lying necessarily. Maybe they're lying but it doesn't seem to be affecting me, so I think we're good. But these protein wafers taste like what are those like back in the day? There's like a wafer cookie with like vanilla. Not vanilla wafers, but like I don't know what they're called. There's like kind of like Nutter Butter. Like wasn't Nutter Butter like a wafer? Remember those?
Yeah, Nutter Butter was more like a cookie, right, with like a filling.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like vanilla.
So like
you said not the wafers.
No, I guess they are the wafers, but like, so there's a protein bar company that makes like protein wafers. So it's like a wafer cookie, I guess, but it's got like, they have different fillings like vanilla or chocolate or whatever, and they're so good. They taste like you're not eating like protein bars. Mm-hmm. And I love them. They're delicious. And, whenever I tell people that they should, supplement some of their meals with protein bars, it's always better to have real food. But if you don't have time, if you're at work at a desk all day or you're driving all day or whatever, just grabbing a quick protein bar is better because you're going to curb your appetite. You're not going to go, because a lot of times people end up overeating because they go too long without meals. You know, they go 5, 6, 7 hours, 8 hours without eating, and before you know it, they're starving. And then when you're starving, you drive, let's say, and then there's McDonald's. You're like, well, fuck, I'm starving. I'll just pull into the drive-thru. Boom. No. Wrong answer, man. Just come prepared. Take snacks with you. That's why I'm always taking protein bars and shakes and stuff with me when I go on the road, because I don't want to have to deal with those things happening to me. So those are my favorite shakes, bars and stuff. And, you know, I'll oftentimes, like, if you guys follow me on social media, I'll give them shout outs on my social media too, just so you guys can see, like, what I'm eating. I hate to be one of those people that's posting food, but because I get asked a lot, I feel like it's necessary. So there we go. Pre-workout, okay? Pre-workout. This is a topic of discussion always. What's a pre-workout? So basically, pre-workout is something that you take pre-workout, right before you work out. And there's so many different ones. It's become a huge, like, you know, in the old days, like when I started working out, we didn't even have anything remotely close to a pre-workout. And then one company came out with one, and then another one. And then everyone's like, well, fuck, I'm getting on this pre-workout train. And then energy drinks came out, and you're like, okay, now it's just crazy out of hand. So my favorite pre-workout, it's a two-way tie. I'm going to be honest. Between the original or semi-original No Explode, which is exactly what it sounds like, fucking No Explode. So basically, it's got caffeine, it's got arginine, it's got a little bit of creatine, it's got a lot of other enes, beta-alanine, can't even say it. And it does a few things, but basically, it helps you. Any kind of pre-workout you take, it's going to give you a lot of caffeine, and then it gives you, like I said, the arginine and whatnot. And there's usually like some amino acids, maybe some B12. It gives you more energy to work out, so that while you're working out, because you have this energy, it allows you to work out longer. You don't get tired as fast. So because you're doing that, essentially you get, I guess, a better workout. Because you're working out harder, then, you know, you're not going to get tired as fast. So that's why people take them, and I enjoy them. I've probably been doing pre-workout for, at least 10 years or so. And sometimes I work out without it, but most of the time I'm like, yeah, I need that shit. So No Explode is my favorite one. It's also a vasodilator, which basically is a nice way of saying it allows your blood vessels to open up. So like when you're working out, you feel a bigger pump in your muscles. So that's pretty cool too. So No Explode is my favorite. Also, but it's a two-way tie between No Explode and the brand. It's not a brand, but it's called C4. And exactly, they sound like bombs, and that's exactly what they are. Like you fucking put a bomb into your body, and then you go out and you just fuck shit up when you're at the gym. Both of those I alternate between those two. You know, between No Explode, between C4. I love them. C4 also comes in like ready to drink versions, because like I'm talking like the powders that you put in, you know, mix it with water, shake it up, drink it. But most of those companies also come. They have like a ready to drink version of those pre-workouts. A little bit more expensive for the ready to drink version than it is to get like the actual powder. So, you know, but some people pay for convenience, so that's fine. So those are my two favorites. And then the last one I wanted to go over, these are just my favorites, guys. I'm not saying it's the best, just saying, you know, I get these questions a lot of times. What should I do for this? What should I do for this? So I'm just giving you my suggestions, okay? Fast food, okay? Fast food. America is 33% of America is clinically obese, so a lot of people are eating fast food. So what I'm going to tell you is, hey, if you're going to go to fast food, because I know you're going to, let's be honest, choose wisely. And here's the thing. So I'll go over, I'll just throw it like a blanket. Most fast food, not good for you, right? We can all agree, most fast food, not good for you. But there are certain places that do try to help you, select better options. unless you're in the South, you could go to McDonald's, because we talked about it on the podcast, but they don't have salads in McDonald's in the South for some fucking reason, and I discovered that the hard way, but most McDonald's do. Most fast food places have a salad. So you're saying, well, I'm not going to fast food to get a salad. I get it. That's fine. So I'll give you some suggestions. Paul. Let's ask Paul. Paul, do you have a degree in nutrition?
No.
Okay, perfect. So if you went to Carl's, what's your favorite fast food place, first of all?
El Pollo Loco.
Are you lying?
No.
Did you? Because that was the one I was going to fucking tell him.
Oh, really? I love El Pollo Loco.
Because El Pollo Loco is actually, I mean, most of the stuff is actually not bad.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I go to El Pollo Loco on the regular. That's actually my favorite fast food place because it's kind of healthy. Mm-hmm. What do you get at El Pollo Loco?
I like the double chicken tostada salad. That's my favorite.
Do you eat the actual tostada too?
I know I'm not supposed to, but I will.
All right, no,
I
that's
will
fair.
indulge. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say if you did that, my suggestion would be to not eat the fucking but everything else, the salad's fine.
Yeah.
Double chicken.
If you eat the whole thing, it's like over 1,000 calories.
Yeah, for sure. But if you just took out the tostada, like the shell, you would probably cut that in half at least.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. We used to go to this place called Crave in Sherman Oaks. It's like open 24 hours, so like late at night, especially on the weekends, it's kind of off the hook. But it's supposed to be a healthy like version of a 24-hour cafe, and they had these taco bowls and like very delicious, but we just like you would start eating the shell and you're like, fuck, this is so good, and it's like, no, don't eat the fucking shell. But okay, what else besides the Pollo Loco
that I go to?
You can be honest, Paul. I'm not trying to shame you.
No, I'm trying to think of like because it doesn't, I mean, you also have to realize I had my kidney stone, so,
oh, that's right.
So I eat a little differently than I do now. So most of the
pre-kidney stone.
Pre-kidney stone. Oh, no, I was a monster. Carl's Jr.
Okay, perfect. Carl's Jr. So if I went to Carl's Jr. and I didn't have a degree in exercise science or nutrition or whatever, I could look at that menu and be like, okay, double Western bacon cheeseburger, delicious, probably not the best. You know, large crisp cut fries, shake, not the best. So I could be someone that looked at the menu and been like, okay, I'm going to get the chicken sandwich. The grilled chicken sandwich. Some version of a grilled chicken sandwich, right? Leave the mayonnaise off. Leave the sauce off. I'm just going to have the chicken sandwich. Is it boring? Yeah. But it's, you know, you're still going to the fast food, but you're just not getting the worst thing. You know, you look at the calories, and the calories are going to be exponentially different. Like a Western bacon cheeseburger, I'm pretty sure, or double Western bacon for sure, has over like 1,000 calories.
Has to be, yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
But they're delicious. But like the chicken sandwich at Carl's Jr., for example, or even like Carl's Jr. has a turkey burger, several actually, and they're way less calories. And then you could take it a step further. I'm not going to tell you to do this, but you could, you know, be one of those people that say, actually, can I get it? I don't know if you can, like In-N-Out, you can get it protein style. I'm pretty sure you could do it at Carl's Jr., right? Just have it wrapped in lettuce? I don't know. I mean, isn't Carl, who's the one that does it your way? That's Burger King.
Burger King.
Sorry. You could eat it without the bun is all I'm saying. You don't need the fries, although they're delicious.
Yeah.
You don't need the shake. How
do you feel about the Impossible Burger?
Oh,
or the Beyond Burger?
It's funny that you mentioned that because I just read an article about it, and I've had a couple different Impossible Burgers. I had one at Crossroads here on Melrose, which is Travis Barker's vegan restaurant, and I'm eating it, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest. If I didn't know that it was an Impossible Burger, I would have thought it was a regular burger. It was good, but because of that, I'm like, well, there's no way this is good for you.
Yeah.
You know, and then I had an Impossible Burger at Fat Burger, and it was also like it didn't taste as good as the one at Crossroads. So I guess it just depends on what they cook with. So it really just depends on what they're partnering it with. You know. Like, the patty itself is fine, but, like, the study that I was reading was that basically saying what I just said. Like, yeah, like, it's better for you in theory than beef, but not by much. And then because of all the other stuff they put around it, you're not getting some magical benefit just because you're just not getting meat, basically.
Yeah, it's, like, super heavily processed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's fine, but like I said, most of the time, so the moral of this story, my favorite fast food place is El Pollo Loco. I don't do Taco Bell. I don't do any of those things. But if you went somewhere else, chicken sandwich is usually a safe bet. Leave the mayonnaise off. Maybe get a salad with it instead of the fries. You know, try to leave the fries away because that's an extra 400, 500, 600 calories. And it's just fried, you know? And get it with no bun if you want. Take out the bun. That's just my suggestion. Don't get soda. Don't get a shake. Get water. Put a lemon in it. You can do it. It's not as fun. Same thing when you go to like a regular restaurant. You know, like if you're really trying to eat better. I'm not trying to be an asshole. But if you're really trying to eat better, you can go to a restaurant, any restaurant, without having a degree in nutrition. Look at the menu and say, okay, I'll just use Cheesecake Factory as an example. Don't look at the calories. Have you ever been like to a restaurant and you look at the calories? Because like most of the restaurants have them on there and you're like, fuck. That's what I do. But if you went to there, you could look at the menu and be like, okay, I'll just get the, you know, chicken salad or whatever. I mean, it's always going to be some version of like a chicken salad or something. Or, you know, I mean, you could get like a steak and a vegetable and whatever. Like, it's doable. You know, yeah, it's not as fun as having a big old thing of pasta. And do you remember Claim Jumper?
Yeah.
How fucking much we used to love Claim Jumper back in the day. Is that still a thing? Do they still have restaurants? I mean,
I don't know.
LA's weird because we don't have places like LA proper doesn't really have a lot of those chains. Like,
No, they're all far.
yeah, like the Claim Jumpers and the Applebee's and like all those. Like, there's no. You have to go outside the city a little bit to find those places. I just remember like the Claim Jumper though used to have that big old fucking log of cake they would bring out. And it's like, yeah, obviously those aren't the best choices. So you don't have to have a degree in nutrition or exercise science to look at a menu and know which ones are better or worse than others. It's kind of common sense. But, you know, some things are more fun. Obviously alcohol, that's a whole other topic. You know, just know that every empty calorie alcohol drink you have is going to affect you in some way. And as you get older, it will continue to affect you, and it affect you even worse as you get older, which a lot of people discover. Their bodies just don't work the same anymore. So just keep that in mind. I'm not telling you not to eat bad, not to drink. I'm just telling you to be mindful of it. And if fitness is something that is important to you, just kind of make some changes to your body and to your lifestyle. And, you know, you make those changes for a week, for 2 weeks, pretty soon it's a month, and then pretty soon you're on your fitness journey. And it's a way of life, like myself, instead of just like, oh, fuck, I got to do this again. Like, you know, sober October or whatever it might be. Like, you can sustain it for a long time. It's just making little changes to, you know, your lifestyle here and there. So, I'm sorry my guest is not here. I'm sorry you guys had to listen to me for an hour, but I think you guys might have gotten something out of it. And by all means, guys, if you guys have questions about stuff, you guys that are listening to me, you know, feel free to DM. I don't have such a big following yet, or I don't check sometimes I don't get the DMs right away, but, you know, if you send me one, you have a question about something, like, I love to see that you guys are working out. We're doing the 20-20-20 challenge that we've been posting, which is, it's too late now. I mean, no, it's probably too late for you guys, but, you know, I challenge everybody to work out for at least 20 days, for at least 20 minutes, at least 20 days in the month of January, 2020, get it? And people have been, you know, doing their workouts and, you know, tagging me on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. So, like, I love that. And I've been sharing all those. So those are great. So if you started that, keep it up. Keep tagging me. If you want to start it, today's you know, if you're listening to this, you're about halfway through the month, but I don't know, you could get close at least and build a habit. If you haven't started yet, or just retroactively be like, yeah, I worked out, you know, the last 5 days or whatever. I don't know, whatever, but feel free to tag me and stuff, guys. I love that. I love encouraging you guys. You know, it's part of my lifestyle, and I want it to be part of your lifestyle. So if I can help in any way, that means a lot to me. So Anyway, if you're listening to this, I'm going to be at the Bar 83 Lounge in Ontario Saturday, January 25th. And I'll also be at the Fitness Expo here in LA that weekend, the 25th and 26th. I don't know which day, but I'm going to be there. So if you guys are going, hit me up, ask me when I'm going. I can tell you. And then Friday, January 31st, I'm going to be at the Haha Live in Victorville. Oh, and I'm also if you're in LA, also Thursday, January 30th, I'm starting a new room of comedy at Black Star. It's called Black Star. It's on Fairfax. We're going to get a room going. We're going to try to make it a monthly thing. So come out. I'll be posting it on my social media, but that's Thursday, January 30th at Black Star. It's Black Star Burger, I believe it's called. And all the dates will be on my website, www.petersurs.com. But thank you guys so much for listening. I promise I will have a guest next week for you guys to listen to. And this has been A Camera Adds 10 Pounds. I encourage you to just take better care of yourselves, guys. Thank you, and have a good day. Bye.